It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha. Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone. Brouhaha time. Marshall Wood and Dale McKee. I tell you what, brouhaha is an interesting word, isn't it, Dale? What does it really mean? What did we really do?
Well, we're supposed to argue and feud, and
really?
all that kind of stuff. What were them people in Kentucky that feuded for 200 years?
The Hatfields and the McCoys.
McCoys.
What in the world would we have to feud around Wayne County over?
I would think,
Nothing?
Say maybe the Woods and the McKees.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm betting on the McKees because there's a lot more McKees than there are Woods around here.
Well, we're getting low in numbers. We're getting low in numbers.
Are you having a great week, Dale?
Well, it's just been one of them weeks so far. Little doctor, little funeral, unfortunately, but things just revolve.
Yeah, they do.
Just revolve.
They do. What about your some pretty big news in the in your sideline view? Don't you think?
It's Mississippi based. It's supposed to be a recap of last week and what happened, and so it just kind of fills a void in some of these little weekly newspapers around.
Or in the Brouhaha?
Yeah, in the Brouhaha. we can kind of talk about it. I guess Ole Miss Lady Rebels upsetting LSU. Put them dead in the tournament, and Ole Miss men's basketball beating Oklahoma probably assured the Rebels of a NCAA bid.
Wow.
So, and it's their second 20-win season. State won their 20th game. Men did.
That's impressive. Two SEC schools in Mississippi. Will State will they both make the tournament, you think?
I think both of them could make it, and both the Mississippi State and the Ole Miss ladies teams should be able to make it. William Carey finally got lost to Blue Mountain College up in Holly Springs. They lost in their conference tournament, so they ended the season. They're 25-1, but they're going to get a bid based on winning the regular season.
25-1.
That's not a bad record.
That's not bad.
And they named the finalists for the Gilliam and the Howe top college basketball players this week. They narrowed it down to 3. USM Lady Eagles basketball coach Joy Lee McNeil, that's a hard name.
You're doing great, Dale.
She's coached the USM Lady Golden Eagles for 21 seasons, has 339 wins going into the tournament this week. So she's stepping down because of health issues. Didn't want to step down, but health issues is forcing her to. So they'll be looking for at least a ladies coach.
Yeah.
Now I know the men's had a terrible season, but I can't see any athletic director that would want to replace a football coach and both his basketball coaches in the same year. I'm thinking that's going. He's going to have to replace the ladies coach, but I think they'll give Ladner another year.
Yeah.
Over the men's.
He had a good start, didn't he?
Yeah. He had a good third season, but it's kind of turned on the last couple of years. But the finances leads to a lot of them problems. They still have to pay Will Hall another year of his contract, and they brought in all new coaches.
Yeah.
So that's
money's probably a little tougher to come by at Southern than it is at Mississippi State. No.
Yeah. Well, I think that you have to win. I mean, and Southern is a place. If you win, they will come.
Yeah.
You remember the Bobby Collins days when they were
Yes, sir.
glory down there. They were playing before almost full houses. The M-Cake Turk run during the 80s when they were filling Reed Green up, playing Louisville, Cincinnati, and all those teams. And so baseball is sold out again this year, season tickets, and so they do have some individual tickets if you'd like to go to the games. But what I'm just trying to say is if you win down there, they will come.
Yeah.
But I think that's about the thing for anything, even high school.
Yeah.
If you win, they will come.
Yeah. Just win, baby.
Yeah.
That's what Al said. Just win.
Just win.
Speaking of winning, what you got for us tonight in terms of our guest?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about USM baseball. Jack Duggan, he's the sports information director. He's the assistant athletic director, sports information director. He's over communication, but he covers baseball because he was a former baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to talk to us about USM baseball and the great start they've gotten off to. They're 9-3, but we got some pretty good teams. Ole Miss has won 10 in a row, and they're now 11-1. And Mississippi State, even though they had a kind of a lackluster week last week, going 1-3, they're 7-4 on the season. But State's played some very tough competition.
Yeah.
Very tough competition.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be interesting. So we're in the heat of the battle, so to speak. So let's take a break to hear from our sponsor, and then you and I'll be back with tonight's guest, USM Sports Information Director Jack Duggan. We'll see you after the break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Jack. Good to have you here today. I know you've been following the USM Golden Eagles baseball team. Last week they played 4 games against ranked teams, and they split. So that must be pretty good sign early in the year as they improved to 9-3. What are your thoughts about last week's play? Let's start with the Ole Miss game. Great hitting and maybe not so good pitching, but they still competed pretty well.
Yeah, Dale. I mean, it really started a tough stretch for us. 5 games against, I guess you would say nationally ranked opponents. We started at Ole Miss. We lose 15-8. Unfortunately, our pitching staff gives up 11 walks. They hit 5 guys in a night. We kept it close. Our offense kept the game close. We think we hit 3 or 4 homers in the game. On 4 homers, and they were all solo to keep us in the ball game. We kept rallying back, but Ole Miss got a 4-run eighth to kind of put the game away, and we lose on Tuesday night. 15-8. Then we go out to TCU this weekend. The Horned Frogs, I think they were 19th in the country, and in front of a really good crowd on Friday night at Lupton Stadium in Fort Worth, and we jumped out to an early 2-0 lead, and unfortunately just couldn't hold on to it. We kept giving them runs that probably shouldn't have. That they didn't really earn. I mean, they scored 1 run on a wild pitch, a couple of pass balls, and then they had a couple of runs score. They had runners to the corners. They had a stolen base. Throw down to second was wild, and that allowed 1 run to score. And the guy who was stealing the base ended up at third base, and then he scored on a sacrifice fly. So that's 3 runs right there that they scored that we sort of helped on Friday night. So we ended up losing first game 5-2. Come back on Saturday, we lost at that point, lost 3 straight, which we hardly ever do here. So it's kind of shocking, but we go into the Saturday ball game. We jump out, we jump out again early. Davis Gillespie, a home run off the batter's eye in center field in the first inning. We get another run in the third on a sacrifice fly by Ozzie Pratt, and they cut it to 2-1, and then we score. We score to make it 5-1. They get a couple of runs. In the ninth, we kind of had to hold them off late, but Cross Sibley, our starting pitcher, he went 7 strong for us, just gave up a run, a couple of walks. He struck out a guy, 5 hits, but he proved it 2-0 to get the win for us in that ball game, and then we followed it up Sunday with a series win. We scored 7 runs over the last 2 innings, including a 5-run eighth. Matthew Russo, our first baseman, had 2 homers in the ball game, drove in a career high tying 5 runs, and it was a great end to a really good weekend. And now we end this really tough 5-game stretch at Mississippi State on Tuesday.
Yeah, and you got a pretty good team coming in, probably a lesser-known team in North Carolina, Wilmington. They're one of the top teams in their conference, and they got some pretty good pitching, I hear.
They do. I hear their Friday night guys really, really good, and it should be they were an NCAA tournament team a year ago, so they're going to want to come in here and play well. They want to come in and play well, and this is a big non-conference series for them as it is for us, and so we're looking forward to having them in, and that's the one thing we like doing here at Southern Miss is playing quality non-conference teams that we bring in. I mean, we've had teams like this come in all the time, and so it should be a great weekend this weekend when we host UNCW.
Yeah, I noticed one word that you kept using, home runs. This team's got a pretty good batting order. I mean, a lot of these guys seem to go yard, maybe everybody in the lineup.
Well, I tell you what, it's a veteran club. I mean, we had 6 starters back from a year ago. You start with Carson Pato, who's a 5-year guy for us, a senior from Van Cleve. And then Matthew Russo, who I've talked about, he's from Madisonville, Louisiana, our first baseman. Then you have Nick Monaster, a junior from Brandon, who he was a versatile guy for us a year ago, played a lot of different positions. He's kind of just been at second all this year. Nice for him to just to have that one spot that he can play and concentrate on every year. Another guy, Davis Gillespie, our left fielder, sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama, who he really has had a good year. He almost had one out of the ballpark down the left field line into a really stiff wind in Fort Worth, but man, it just went foul at the last second. It was late in the ball game on Sunday. So we got some guys that can swing the bat. Joey Urban, transfer from Butler, he can swing it. Then we got a kid by the name of Ben Higdon, who is a transfer from University of Kentucky and is from Paducah, Kentucky. So, it's a stacked lineup, and it's one that we've got some depth to.
Listen, it seems like to me watching the games that the 2 through 5 hitters are really banging the ball this year. I mean, they are really and the catcher Stockman, he seems to be coming through at the plate. What's your thoughts on those?
Well, our 2-hole hitters, a guy by the name of Ozzie Pratt. He was a transfer from BYU, and the kid's a gamer. And I've told a couple of people this. When we lose, Dustin Dickerson 2 years to graduation, you think, that's going to be tough shoes to fill. But I tell you what, Ozzie Pratt has certainly done that. We have not lost anything transitioning from Dustin to Ozzie. I mean, 2 really, really great players. 2 really great players that have played shortstop for us. Ozzie's a gamer. He's going to give it to you every time he comes to the plate. He's got great range defensively. We got a very strong arm. He's a guy that's going to battle every at bat. He's not going to get a homer every time, but he's the kind of guy that can get a double. And example of that is his hits were down over the weekend, but he drove in 2 runs with sacrifice flies on Saturday, drove in another run on Sunday with another sacrifice fly. So he finds a way to get things done, and that's what you want. Tucker Stockman, who was traded time with Lawson Odom, kid from Laurel, who comes from Athens, Alabama, and he's seen some success behind the plate as a hitter as well. He's got a couple of 3-hit games for us this year, and it's good to have two catchers that can play for you. They're 2 guys that complement each other with different skill sets, and it's fun to watch those guys play.
Well, I know it's still early in the year, but this looks like a pretty solid starting 8 that they're putting out on the field.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I mean, it really is. there's been a little variation in the lineup here to there, but another guy that I hadn't mentioned is Jake Cook, guy first-year starter for us, who's been in the program for 2 years now, and guy's got great wheels, hitting down in the orders, a guy that can put the ball on the ground and beat base hits out. I mean, just an example, yesterday he was on first base and a ball got away from the pitcher when he tried to pick him off, and most guys would only have ended up at second, and he was standing on third base when the ball came back into the infield. So, very quick, guy that down at the bottom of the order that can hit the baseball, get some singles, drive in some runs, and get on base.
All right, let's talk about the pitching a little bit. I thought that maybe this is just Dale McKee's opinion here now.
Okay.
Middleton maybe threw too many pitches in 4 innings Friday night. I thought the kid on Saturday pitched really great, and I thought Adams that pitched on Sunday that did a pretty good job. But it just seems like, are they going to stay like that, or you think it'll switch around? What you think?
I'm not sure. I think Middleton and Sibley right now are really solid Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I'm not so sure. I know they like Graydon Harris, the freshman, a lot, the lefty from Louisiana. But our starting pitcher has been lights out. I think Middleton's big problem was he had a 33-pitch first inning on Friday. I think that really set him back. Still pitched solid, only gave up one unearned run in his outing, and he left with the lead, but just couldn't, just didn't get enough innings of work. But if you look at and Sibley has been really good. I think he had 13 fly ball outs at TCU on Saturday. So a guy that was a reliever for most of his career is finally transitioning into being really a solid starter for us. If you look at our starting pitchers over the first 12 games, our starters are 7-2 with a combined 1.63 earned run average. Dale, they've thrown 55 in the third innings, have only given up 10 earned runs, over that time. Have only allowed 36 hits. They've walked 19, and they've struck out 54 and 55 in the third innings. And opponents are only hitting 183 against them. So, our starting pitching has been as good as it can be, I think, through the first, third or quarter of the season.
Well, I know that they've got just coming out of, I say, the bullpen or people getting work. It just seems like that they've got a bunch of newcomers that really have some good arms on that pitching staff. And what's your comments on those young guys?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you look at our head coach Christian Ostrander. He ranks up there as one of the top pitching, if not the top pitching coach in the country. I mean, he is that good. He knows how to find talent. He knows how to develop talent. And if you look at our talent, especially you look at our new pitchers, there's not a lot of portal guys. They're all freshman guys. So just go down the guys that have come on for us this year. Cal Culpepper, who was a freshman for us last year. He's redshirted a year ago. You look at Graydon Harris, freshman from Louisiana. You look at Camden Sundstrom, a freshman from Louisiana. Michael Wascom, a freshman. Brooks Willoughby, who's from Vicksburg. Those are just 4 or 5 guys that I mentioned that have had really great freshman seasons so far. And when you get guys like that can come in, and you look at our depth on the mound. I mean, we probably go 15, 16 deep in our pitching staff, and I tell you what, there's a lot to be said for that. To have, because it's about pitching. If you can get guys out, you're going to win ball games, and that's what we try to do.
Hey, well, one last question. Can you still get tickets? Tell our radio audience. Can you come up to the game?
What you need to do is we still have some single game available single game availability. I would check our ticket office. We have a turn back program in for people that aren't going to use their tickets, and there's ways to get tickets that way. I would suggest calling our ticket office or going to southernmisstickets.com. Those are probably your best chances of trying to get single game tickets. Since our season tickets sales have already sold out.
This is Marshall. I want to ask you one question here before we go, and I mean it's a little different. I'm sitting here looking back, and I look at the records. And I mean, since 2016, Southern's won, of course, apart from the COVID year, 40 or more games in every one of those seasons. From what I'm looking at, that's kind of incredible to me. I mean, at any level. I mean,
well, it's eight straight, and it's the most in Division I baseball.
Wow.
So our 8 straight 40-win seasons are the most of anybody. In fact, we've had 22 or 23 straight 30 or more winning seasons as well. So if you go back to my freshman season as a young whippersnapper Golden Eagle pitcher,
yes, sir,
back in 1986. Since that 1986 team, Southern Miss has had 38 winning seasons in the last 39. So,
wow.
And I'm not saying I'm the reason for that. I'm just saying,
come on, man,
that this program has seen a lot of success over a long period of time.
Well, they've had some outstanding coaches for sure. Outstanding.
There's true. Some outstanding coaches, but not a lot. If you look at the program since 1959, Christian Ostrander is only our 5th head coach since 1959. So
that's crazy.
So there's a lot of stability in our program as well.
Well, listen, I hate to tell you, we're out of time, man. We appreciate you so much for taking time out of your schedule and being on our show and all you brought to the Brouhaha table tonight. And when you talk about USM baseball, man, there's an awful lot to talk about. It's mighty good. I'm going to ask you to hang on just a second. Dale and I are going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors and be back with tonight's final segment right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's final segment of the Brouhaha. And I tell you what, that makes me proud to be a Golden Eagle.
There you go.
Man, I tell you what, if we got something to holler about at USM, it's baseball. That's incredible. I was looking back at the history, and then he, of course, he knows it all. But that's the winningest program in the country, huh?
Yeah, I think he told me the last time I talked to him, since '86, he's only not been in Hattiesburg with Southern Miss baseball one year.
Wow.
So he's kind of the historian there.
And he played there.
Mm-hmm.
All righty.
He was a left-handed pitcher. Tried to be. I tell him.
Tried to be. Come on, McKee, cut him a break. You're hard on the guy, huh? You like Captain Insano. You show no mercy.
There you go.
No mercy. Look, you got anything else you got? I have a couple of things here. I'm looking around here. I got a little piece of paper here.
Okay.
Been doing a little looking around here. 22 of the most unbreakable sports records ever. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of these, but the winning 8 straight NBA championships, that's one of the records. That's what I show on this sheet here as number 1. The most unbreakable sports record ever. Is that unbreakable or has it been broken?
Boston Celtics.
I knew you'd get that. I knew you'd get it.
Well, they were dominant in the '60s because I was always a Jerry West fan with the LA Lakers.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I was always rooting for the Lakers.
You were a Laker fan. I hate your guts and
But then when Larry Bird came to the Celtics, I was a Celtic fan. So I guess I'm just a players fan.
Yeah, well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
You got a guy like it's about players. It's a players game.
Man, I grew up watching Johnny Unitas, man.
Oh, man.
I didn't think there was any other team.
My daddy loved Johnny U, man. He made me watch him. Those shoes he would wear.
Yeah, high top black.
High top, black top. Listen, okay. What major league pitcher this is the number 2 on the most unbreakable sports records ever. Mm-hmm. Who has more wins in professional baseball pitching?
Well, I guess it would be that Walter Johnson or Cy Young.
Which one do you think?
Probably Cy Young.
Cy Young?
One they named the trophy after. Cy Young.
That'll tell you something, boy.
Yeah.
511.
Okay.
Now you're a sports. Listen. I just sit here and punch buttons and talk. But now you're a sports guy. Is that a lot? It must
Well,
be.
I don't think anybody's that close. I mean, a lot of these guys, man, they're just proud in this day and time. 200 would be great. Back in the 60s, it was 300.
Yeah.
Because they only had 4-man pitching staffs. Now they got like six-man pitching staffs with a relief pitcher every inning after the 7th. So it's hard to get a win.
I guess it is. Here's another one. The third most unbreakable sports record ever.
What's it dealing with, a player?
Hockey.
Oh, hockey.
Who had the most assists ever? Come on now, you got to know
Oh,
this.
the guy up from Canada.
The great one.
The Gretzky.
The Wayne Gretzky had 1,963 assists. He's helping everybody, wasn't he?
He was.
That's kind of like you, Dale. You probably got more assists than that. I know you probably assisted me way more times than that. Come on, man, blow your horn. Last one for the night, Dale. This is going to be the last before we go to our sign-off state here. Someone has more Super Bowl rings as a starting quarterback than anybody else. Can you even fathom to guess through that? If you can't get this one, you're an idiot.
Well, I would think it was Brady.
You got it. You're perfect. You're batting 1,000, McKee.
Well, they didn't have in there about Cal Ripken's longest.
Well, I'm not going to use them all tonight. Now we're going to show everything.
I was wondering, Cal Ripken's streak got to be number 1.
We'll come back to this thing in another section of
Somebody
the
can win 8 straight. Somebody can win 8 straight.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to win 511 games either.
Well, listen, we appreciate you, Dale, and we appreciate you folks out there listening to us, and we appreciate our guests tonight. We love everybody, don't we, Dale?
We try to.
Sometimes it can be very hard.
It's very hard.
But anyway, it's come to that time where we're going to wind it up in a minute. But we want to remind you, thank you for being with us, remind you that you can follow us on Facebook at the Brouhaha, and all the shows are cataloged for you to listen to on demand at our YouTube channel on the Brouhaha. But for now, it's time to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale.
And we'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Get us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Del McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.